What's the overall length of the antenna then?
65 feet.
Well, interesting. Yeah, I didn't realize that. So you can certainly, I would guess, you can fold it or do some kind of an angle to it. You don't have to keep it straight out, correct?
Correct. I have it straight out. I have it on a pulley and a spring system to compensate for tree motion. There's another guy in the same condo development who has a stealthy one out to the backyard. He just uses a bungee cord to compensate for tree motion.
That's very, very cool. You know, it's amazing the ingenuity that that operators have, to make things work better and so forth. I mean, sometimes I just shake my head at some of the ingenuity that people come up with that you wouldn't think would work, and it works terrific. I've tried my hand at making antennas with very limited success. And I think if I really wanted to go out and make contacts, I better let the professionals get to it. So that's kind of what we did. So for us to get on the air, we let the pros do it, and their antennas seem to work quite well. Roger?
Yeah, roger that. Again, this is K0RWB in Rhode Island. My sister-in-law lives in the Villages in Florida, which is a huge community that straddles 3 zip codes, and they have a very active ham club there, but a very aggressive HOA. And what they do to get around it, they disguise vertical antennas as flagpoles.
Yeah, I've talked to several down in the Villages, and they're using the flagpole antenna, which I think is truly a terrific idea, and if it works, hey, great, and it keeps the association off their back as well. I think it's terrific. Again, the ingenuity of people is just amazing.
Okay, I'll let you go. It sounds like you were pretty close to wanting to get off the air for a while and go do some stuff, and I've got some stuff I got to take care of. But nice to talk to you, and maybe we'll catch you again sometime.
Yeah, by all means. Yeah, we generally come out here about 2 o'clock Central for a few hours. We do a live stream during the week, and we're having some internet issues today. It's kind of wavering around. That's what happens when you live in the country. But so far, it's come back alive again. Yeah, if you're interested in listening to our QSO and see how you sound on the air, just go to YouTube, put in my call sign, look for their video for today, and you have a chance to listen and see how it sounds. But otherwise, no problem. Really enjoyed having a chance to talk with you. Looks like it's the first contact that I show in my log, so thank you for that. And enjoy the rest of your day, of course, and thank you for the contact in Rhode Island. The Northeast area is definitely holding its own today. Everybody's got terrific signals. 7-3s, enjoy the rest of your week as well. Kilo Delta 2, Hotel Delta Papa Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo. 7-3s, my friend.
7-3s. I'm the live stream guy at the local Methodist church for the last year or so. So I've been learning a lot about live streaming on YouTube and Facebook, and it's been quite a journey. But 73 and KD2HDP here. Bye-bye.
Roger, 7-3s. And we'll go ahead and clear. This is Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo. I'll call any station anywhere, QRZ. CQ, CQ, CQ2, CQ, 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 CQ20, CQ20 meters, Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo. Calling CQ, CQ, any station, anywhere. The Kilo Mike 4, I got part of that. Try it again, please.
Kilo Mike 4, Whiskey Uniform Oscar.
Okay, got you that time. Kilowatt Mike 4, Whiskey Uniform Oscar. Is that a Roger?
Roger.
Okay, hey, thanks for giving us a call. The name here is Randy, Romeo Alpha November Delta Yankee. We're 35 miles east of downtown Kansas City, Missouri. Go ahead.
Roger that. You're coming in pretty well down here in Corpus Christi, Texas. Over.
5 minutes, so you're on the backside of my beam. Let me see if I can get it turned around a little bit. Might help bring us up on the receive there. Go ahead.
Roger, yep, you're a little better now.
Well, I'm sure I get my money's worth there, Michael. It does help a little bit. Yeah, you definitely came up on my receive. Unusual for me to make a contact in Corpus Christi on 20. It's rather close for me for 20 meters, but now you came up real nice on my receive that time. Go ahead.
Roger that. Did I hear you right that you have an FTDX10 there? Over.
Yeah, I sure do. I've had it for just about a month. I've got it paired up with a Heil PR781 microphone, and they seem to work pretty well together, Roger.
Roger that. Yeah, I was just wondering, how you like this. I've been looking at those going, I've been jonesing for a new radio and looking at that going, that might not be too bad. Over.
Yeah, I will say I've had Yaesu in the past. Even in January, I had an ICOM 7300. That's in an alternate location. It's a very nice radio. But what I've seen the difference with this, of course, it doesn't. The receiver does not seem to get overloaded. You can have signals right next to you, and you can really filter them out. So the receiver, to me, is really, really well. And the transmit seems to be set up. It's not an overly big radio. It's relatively small, compact. It's probably not the right radio for mobile. It would be okay for portable work. And I believe the dials are laid out real well. The menus are easy to navigate, and I like having the external monitor feature. I can actually broadcast up into a monitor, and I've actually broadcasted currently we're doing a YouTube live stream, so I can project that onto the live stream as well. Roger.
Roger that. Yeah, that sounds pretty good, actually. I'm actually stationary mobile right now. I'm using my Yaesu FT57D, running into a Comet UHB6 antenna, and just running my usual 100 watts. Over.
Yeah, I sold my 857 Delta to help finance the radio. That was a tough decision. That is a terrific all mode. The receiver, yeah, it's a little open. I understand. They do have a good transmit. I never had any issues with it. I used it a lot portable work back in 2016 with the National Parks on the Air program. Perfect size radio, and it wouldn't kill a battery. It operated quite well, and there's many times I wish I had it back, but sometimes you have to move onward and upward. Roger.
Roger that. It looks to me like as the newer radios come on, the amount of filters to get rid of the noise seems to have getting better and better. Over.
Yeah, and that's the difference that I've seen. My prior base rig was a Yaesu FT950 that we bought new in 2012, and we did know that they've made some advancements in receive and transmit technology over the years, and that was one of the things that kind of steered us to going with the newer rig, and there is quite a bit of noticeable difference with the newer rigs. I didn't really think the waterfall thing was going to be that big of an addition, but you almost find yourself mesmerized because you can see the entire band and see where there's activity and stuff, and it's a nice little feature to have as well. Roger.
Roger that. Particularly, if you're just kind of sitting around, wondering where to tune in, that waterfall helps a lot. When you're, mobile like this, you just keep sitting in the dial until you hear somebody. Over.
Yeah, that's very true. As a matter of fact, as even happened earlier, I've had a couple of people stop by and checked in because they saw my signal on the waterfall out there on the band, and they said, "Oh, we saw you on the band. We wanted to stop in and say hello," which is really nice. I mean, it does kind of eliminate dead space, and it can also help you find dead space if you're wanting to, call CQ. And yeah, it's a nice little feature to have. I think a lot of the newer radios are now coming with some sort of SDR, and without really breaking the bank. This is a new radio, so it's a little pricey, of course. I would expect the price to go down as time goes on, same as the 7300. But they're both terrific radios, and like I said, we've got them both, and they both work quite well. Not the greatest rigs for mobile, but work out quite well for portable. There, Roger.
Roger that. Yeah, I can see that. It seems to be reasonably decent radio for that sort of thing. still have a 991 that I'd gotten back in 2016. And, it still works okay, and I like being able to do the digital modes without a lot of problems, but, I'm just kind of looking at some of the newer technology, and that FTDXM would be a much lower cost alternative than the 101. Over.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, Michael, that I was kind of debating. My other radio had 2 receivers, VSFOs, but I never used the second one, and that was the kind of the decider for me with the 101 or the 10. I didn't see, for me, the advantage of of spending the extra money for something I probably wasn't going to use. So I decided to go this route, and haven't regretted it whatsoever. I do really enjoy using the radio. I mean, once you've got it set up, it just about runs itself. And the menus are very, very simple to get to. If you wanted to increase RF power or increase or decrease the monitor function, it's very simple to operate. Having the SD card option to save your settings is really nice to have as well. And so, again, I haven't had it a great amount of time. I've used it quite a little bit, and I would not give it back. I would certainly keep it. Roger?
Roger that. Do you use that RT system software to program in the frequencies that you like, or are you just doing that manually? Over.
Yeah, I'm doing it manually. I haven't even used the keyboard mouse port in the back. I'm just kind of old school. I just as soon use the menus up front and the function button to move around. But again, it's got a lot more features than I'll probably ever use. I got everything lined up the way I wanted to, especially on the transmit audio, and we've got that dialed in fairly well. So we're going to leave things are. We're going to lock it down and not take a chance of messing it up. Roger?
Roger that. Yeah, that happened to me a couple of times on the 991. Whenever I'd update the firmware, I had to go back and check my notes and see what I had changed the last time. So I know exactly where you're coming from. Over.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the more information I get, the less I understand it. So if we can make it simple, we try to keep it that way.
Roger that. Well, good. I'm glad to know that you like that radio. I may end up getting one myself. Over.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think you could really go wrong with any of the newer radios. I'm certainly not discounting the 7300. It's a terrific price point. I wish it did have the external monitor port in the back because you do find yourself using that quite a bit. A little bit bigger monitor versus a small 4.3 size screen. And I think that would be a home run plus. Terrific radio, very easy to set up transmit audio wise. There's just a little different for me, a little look, different feel. On the FTDX10, and again, we're certainly enjoying it so far. Roger?
Roger that. Well, hey, good to talk to you, and I'll let you get back to talk to some other folks then. 73 K0RWB.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad you stopped by, of course, and don't know if I told you, but we are live on YouTube right now. If you're interested in listening to our QSO to actually hear how you sound across the air, just go to my YouTube page, put in my call sign in the search bar, and look for the video for today, and you could play it back. We're also trying to help a ham in need as well, which is on my QRZ page. A ham operator out of Michigan has kidney failure, and we're trying to get the word out to try to help him as well. But if you're also interested, we do a weekly giveaway with a local amateur radio stores provided us some gift certificates, and we do a drawing each Wednesday. And if you're interested in being to qualify, selected, or entering however you want to put it, all we ask is you subscribe to the channel and go to the chat and type in K4P and your call sign, and that'll get you entered for this week, sir. Roger?
Roger that.
Okay, thanks again, 7-3s. thanks for coming in, and hope to work you again real soon. Kilo Mike 4, Whiskey Uniform Oscar, Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo, 7-3.
7-3.
This is the Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo, calling the CQ, any station, anywhere.
November 2, Uniform Zulu Kilo.
November 2, Uniform Zulu Kilo. Glenn, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, Randy. This is like the 4th time I've called you, and I finally made it.
Well, that just tells you I don't have very good ears, does it? Because I should have heard it with that signal unless somebody was calling at the same time.
Yeah, those days you had a pretty good pileup going. And also, I cranked my amplifier up a little bit today just to get through. I just finished talking to Doug about 10 minutes ago, wherever it was, up on 305. And while I was talking to him, my phone beeped, and it was the alert saying that you were on. And he had mentioned that he had just talked to you, so maybe I could make the trip today.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's really a great thing. And then luckily, it was nice of Doug to stop in as well. We hadn't talked since the first of the month. And I actually thought he was going to be off the air for quite a while because he was trying to get his house tower set up on the roof, and he's I thought he'd already had gotten his step-R, and apparently not. So he's still running his vertical. But yeah, he sounded terrific. He said he was going to try to move up somewhere and find a spot and try to call out a little bit. And I said, hey, great. And we kind of caught up a little bit, which was really nice. And I did. For some reason, we just kind of have some issues going on with the internet today. It shut down my stream a while ago, so I had to log everything off and fire it back up. So it's going to show a couple of different videos today. But that's just the kind of breaks I got to deal with. But I did see you there on the chat, and I'm glad we got a chance to talk on the air this afternoon as well. Booming signal, by the way. So hope things are going well in your area there, Roger.
Everything's going fine. Got a beautiful day today, 72 degrees and sunny. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I kind of enjoy it, but most people don't. Starting on Thursday, it's going to be up to 90, and 90s all through the weekend. So we're going right into summer. There's no spring down here. It gets cool for a couple of days, then it goes back to summer.
Yeah, I thought we were going to be that way a couple of weeks back, and we went from sub-zeros in the morning, and then we set a record of 15 degrees or lower for 11 days. And then all of a sudden we went from that to July. And I thought, we've got it made. And then, of course, Mother Nature said, we're not done with you yet. So we went back a little bit chillier, mid to upper 50s, lower 60s a little bit over the weekend. And it's going to be bouncing around those temperatures this week. So I have a feeling that we're going to be the same way. It's just going to jump. And we're going to be, hitting the 90s before we know it. We're complaining now about how cold it is, and then we're going to be complaining about how hot it is. So I feel for you there, Roger.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to someone the other day, and they were talking about they were going to retire. They lived in New Hampshire, and I told them, come down to Florida. He was talking about it being too hot. I told him, I came down here in April of '94, and it did take me probably 2 summers. And after that, I was fine. I go out and I work in the garage. I work outside. But I will admit the first 2 summers were pretty bad to get through. But you do get used to it. They kept telling me that. I didn't believe it, but it happened.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is probably humidity as well. Of course, we deal with that a lot here. It usually hits us in August, which is almost stifling. So you kind of have to pick your spots throughout the day, depends on what type of physical activity you're trying to get done. And it's either really early morning or late afternoon, evening time frames. And I can certainly see it's that way there as well. And I've talked with stations out in Arizona, New Mexico, and they're talking about excess of 120, and they're the same way. And I said, well, it's a dry heat. And I said, yeah, but it's still 120. So I guess you can't escape that, Roger.
Yeah. I used to spend quite a few trips out to Edwards Air Force Base, and we'd go out there for maybe a week, 2 weeks. I worked for Northrop Grumman on the AFC Joint Stars, and we'd go out there, and we spent the whole month of May out there. And when we got back on May 31st, I think it was, we got back to Melbourne, and I walked off the airplane with my flight suit on, sleeves down, and stood out in the sun till my body was soaked in sweat. I had missed humidity. I never thought I'd miss it, but my skin was so dried out after being at Edwards for a month.
Yeah, I can certainly I can attest to that, being there and over in the giant sandbox. I had my fun as well, getting off a C5, sitting backwards with a M16 between your legs for 15 hours, and then walking down the double ladders on the tarmac at 4 a.m., and it's 100 degrees and bright sunshine. So I can feel your pain on that one as well, Roger.
Yeah, I almost made that trip. Grumman had been over to Saudi for the first time, and then they were going to send us back again. And the day that I was supposed to go over to Patrick Air Force Base for my chem training, they called up and told us, no, stand down. They had canceled the trip. So that was the closest I ever got to going over there.
Well, I'll tell you didn't miss much. I still feel that every once in a while I'm still digging sand out of my ears from all the wind and blowing. And I don't even think I've ever seen the spiders quite as big as I had over there. Of course, they call them camel spiders. And I've seen some that were bigger than the size of your hand. And yeah, you don't want a herd of those chasing you, Roger.
Yeah, I'm not too fond of spiders. We got some down here that get pretty big too. I call them the wolf spiders, but you don't see them too often. Occasionally, and I just let them go their way, and I go mine. Don't want any part of that.
Yeah, I certainly can see that. Yeah, we're not a big fan of those either. But again, keep your distance over there. I'll stay over here. But yeah, they were there first. If we don't do anything, they'll certainly encroach and take it over as well. But so if you've been out to the coast there, or if you have not, I'd be curious if the tides are starting to roll a bit harder, if the water temps are warming up any, or is it still too early for that? Go ahead.
It's too early for me. My grandkids go over there, but probably I've been down. Like I said, I've been down here since '94. I've probably been to the beach 4, maybe 5 times. A couple times to watch rocket launches. But I'm not a big fan of the beach. Don't like the sand. Don't like the sun. And with the medication I'm on, I'm not supposed to go in the sun anyway. So I try to avoid that. But last weekend we went camping. There's a park called Jetty Park, which is up by Port Canaveral. And the kids went over there. They didn't really do too much swimming. They probably went up to about their waist in the water. They said it was a little too cold yet to actually go swimming.
Okay, yeah, I see Port Canaveral here on the map. It just pulls up on my logger. Oh yeah, well, that's out there. Well, I wouldn't say it's quite. I guess it's still Atlantic. You've got so many jetties and little islands in between. But yeah, that'd be an interesting place. Of course, you're getting those winds coming off the water. I'm not sure how warm that would be, but I guess if you're getting up in the 90s, it would feel pretty good, Roger.
Yeah, it really is. It's a fun place to go to, especially when you take the grandkids over there. No, not this year. We did get to see a Disney cruise ship go out, but you go on the jetty, you stand there when the cruise ships go out, and the Disney ship plays all the Disney music, and the people all wave, and everybody on the jetty waves back. But this year the ships were going out, but no passengers on them. It looked really strange seeing these huge cruise ships that usually have thousands of people on every deck waving, and there wasn't a person. Well, we did see 2 people waving, but they must have been people who work on the crew.
Yeah, go figure. Yeah, it's too bad. The ships are going out with no passengers. Hopefully that'll change. We haven't done the cruise yet. We're looking at doing that, but we'd like to see this other stuff kind of go to the wayside and either resolve itself or through vaccinations kind of resolve it. But we try not to let things like that interfere too much. Of course, we do find things to keep us busy, so we're not really worried about going stir crazy between our time here on the air. We certainly have plenty of things to do around here as well, Roger.
Yeah, well, down here in Florida, you wouldn't really know anything was going on other than people wearing masks. I mean, we've been pretty much open the whole time. I mean, and we didn't pay any, my family, we didn't pay any attention to it. We went to my daughter's house for Thanksgiving. We all went to my son's house for Christmas. We just said, it's not, you're not going to change anything. I'm not missing any time with my family. You know, like I said, I got a couple of health issues. I'm 68 now, or I will be 68. And I just was not going to stay away from my grandchildren. I said, I'm not going to do it. And then once I got the vaccinations, I said, okay, I even feel less worried now.
Yeah, that's terrific. And it sounds like they're, at least around here, Kansas and Missouri is making a big push. They're calling it, I think, Phase 3, Phase 4, and 5 are opening up to more age groups and so forth, and there's going to be a lot more availability. And I think that's great. You know, if that's the direction that people want to go, I think that's terrific. I don't particularly want to see or hear anything about being anything like that mandated. It's certainly a personal choice. And those, you know, that may have some underlying conditions, I think that's what they wish to do. I think that's terrific, and especially if there's availability for it, that's another big bonus. I think everybody's really been patient so far, but I also think everybody's ready to get back to their previous lifestyle as well. November 2, Uniform Zulu Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo. Back to you.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like, you wouldn't really know anything was going on here. Other than you'd go to a store and they'd limit the number of people in. No, everything was open, but they would just maybe 10 people only, and you'd have to wait outside and had little marks on the sidewalk where you would stand. But our Governor DeSantis, he was at a supermarket down here, a big chain called Publix. And he was at the Publix not too far from where I live, and they made the announcement that the supermarkets were going to start giving out and the pharmacies were going to start giving out the shots, the COVID. And about a week and a half later, you just go online, and you'd sign up online, and they'd give you an appointment time. You'd go in, and you'd get your shot. I mean, they made it really easy. And being that I was over 65, and I do have a couple of health problems, I had no issues getting in and getting my shot. So I was really happy about that.
Yeah, well, congratulations. You know, a little bit of organization, you know, and logistics will get things done really, really quick. And that's one thing that I know I dealt with my time in the service. So it's really nice to see that the private organizations, along with the government organizations, can put a plan together and get it implemented and get it out to people, you know, as quickly as possible. I'm really glad that worked out for you there, Roger.
Yeah, it did. I couldn't talk my wife into getting the shot. She wants no part of it. You know, she has, you know, some issues too. She should have gotten it, but she's convinced that no, it's not good for you. And she watched a couple of things on TV about what the shot does, changing your DNA. And I tried to tell her it was a bunch of baloney, but I couldn't talk her into getting it, so she still never did. But what are you going to do? She made up her mind.
Yeah, I kind of walk away from that one. The wife does the same thing here. When she makes a decision, I just kind of say, "Yep, dear, you're you're exactly right." So yeah, that's kind of how it works, and I've learned to deal with it. I think we haven't had the opportunity yet because of the age and so forth. So we'll certainly wait our time, and we'll have that discussion again about. If, when, and where, would kind of do that as a family, of course, and we'll see how it plays out. But I know with the different age groups right now, you know, they certainly take priority and so forth, and I'm totally behind that. For those that need it, you know, that may have issues, they should certainly get that as well. And I would certainly see here the next few months it's starting to open up to others as well and to other age groups. So we hope that. We'll get out to everybody as soon as possible. So, but yeah, I did went over and looked at your page real quick. Yours is a little bit more descriptive. I wasn't able to put in that link that you're showing for Papa Phil. I know Alex and a few others have it up. I do have the little hyperlink to it, of course, but was looking at putting that up. So I'm curious. I feel like I've been out of pocket for a week, but it's only been a couple of days. Trying to get some info to see where we're at, how he's been doing, and if there's been any matches or testing going on. I had someone ask me about that earlier. I don't have any definitive information, but I may have to kind of reach out to a few that I know are trying to work this and and see where we're at and see how much more help we can get for Papa Phil. Roger?
Yeah, this is N2ZK. Yeah, last night I was monitoring. I tried to call, I forget the guy's name who was in New Jersey. He was on 40 meters, but he didn't hear me. But I think Papa Phil made an announcement that there was like over 14,000 something lookups on QRZ. I think that's what he said. But so far that was it. He said so far it's just been a lot of awareness. There's nothing else other than getting the word out.
Well, I mean, that's a great place to start. And I would certainly hope, that at some point, someone would step up. Again, I don't know the process per se, what it takes to be tested and how that would transpire. Time, the time is limited, of course. You don't get better on dialysis. You just kind of exist, so to speak. So it's nice to have the awareness. I mean, otherwise, I don't think it would have come to what it is. I think the last week, the special event was very successful from what I've heard midweek anyway. To me, it was successful because I couldn't even find a time slot to try to be an operator for the K0RWB special event. So that tells you a lot right there as well. There's, amateur operators are some of the most giving people in the world. I truly believe that. And that's why I'm really glad to see the outcome that they're getting. What I'm surprised, and I don't know if there's anything local news up in his area, but I'm surprised if it has or has not caught on, if they wouldn't even have gone national, because this is really something unusual, unique, that the amateur radio community is doing, and I'd like to see that get out to the public as well. Roger?
Yeah, I was thinking along the same lines. I mean, this is pretty big for amateur radio. I don't know. I've never heard anything like this at the scale before. I mean, especially with Alex. I mean, that guy is absolutely amazing. He wasn't feeling good, and he was on there, making 300 contacts one day. I think he made like 400 and something the last day he was activated. I mean, that guy was just amazing. They kept calling him the Energizer Bunny and things like that. I mean, that guy was he put his whole heart and soul into this.
Yeah, and he's really kind of been in there from the first, so to speak. I'm not sure exactly how they both met, but when I first started checking with Alex there in January, I know he started making some mentionings of it, and we just kind of followed it behind the scenes. And then I thought, well, what could we do, our small part to maybe get it some awareness out there as well and make it a win-win for everybody. So that's what we started doing with the gift card giveaways or the gift certificates or whatever you want to call it. And it has shown some interest, and I know people have been going to the hyperlink as well and looking at his video. And the first week we had a different notation. I think you're aware of that. This week we decided to make it a little different. So from now on, we do have a few more weeks. We're going to continue doing this, Glenn. So we're going to keep it, to put in the call in the K0RWB. I just feel it's that important to do. Roger?
Yeah, I follow that 100%. You got that. Real quick, I don't want to tie you up anymore. There's probably a lot of people out there wanting to get in touch with you. But I'm working, this is a PR40 microphone on my FTDX 101 Delta. And I have the settings set up for when I originally got the radio, I got a Heil Pro 7. And I was getting like you talk about getting taps on the shoulder, I was getting things thrown at me from my wife trying to get my attention, because with that headset on, you don't hear anything. I mean, she'd be calling me and I wouldn't hear a word. So I got the PR40, but I still have the same settings that
yes, sir, it is.
K2 Charlie Delta,
no problem, sir,
Pennsylvania gave me for the Pro 7. So how does this sound, relatively speaking? I know a couple weeks ago you were talking to a guy who had this pretty much similar setup to this, but does this sound okay?
Well, honestly, I don't like it. I think you should send the mic to me, and maybe I'll check it out for you and make sure it works okay.
Yeah, okay. That's not gonna happen.
So what does that tell you then, Glenn? No, to me, the difference between the PR40 and the 781, which is what I have, the PR40 has a little bit more lower dynamic than this one does. I tried out 4 different mics here at Associated Radio with my rig and my headphones, and this seemed to sound the best. I did the HM12, the Heil Gold Line Elite, the PR40, and the 781. So for me, these two seem to match up really well. A friend of mine, Terrence, who's in Knoxville, Tennessee, has a 101, a new one as well. He runs a PR40 and runs a 781. Is there a huge amount of difference? There's not. But you can tell a little bit that the PR40 has a little bit more low dynamic to it. Otherwise, well, I don't know. You tell me. You're watching it or listening to on YouTube. You should be able to hear yourself. I think it sounds terrific. You're just like your armchair quality.
Well, okay, thanks for that. Well, I got the volume turned down. I just can't take the delay. It drives me crazy. I'll listen to it later. But yeah, I just wanted your opinion. You seem to know what you're talking about, and your audio sounds really good. So I figured I'd ask you.
No, I'm just. I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express one time. That's about my extent. And again, I have to attribute this to Alex checking in, listening playback. I thought it sounded absolutely horrendous, and I kept taking little tweaks, and then when I got to 10, I got it all screwed up. And thanks to my friend Terrence, these are his 101 settings, minus one small change on the mid range. Otherwise, these are exactly his 101 settings, and I don't even run mic EQ. This is mic EQ off. When I listen to the playback, it sounds like me. So that's exactly what I sound like. The other ones was a little distorted, a little tinny, just didn't really sound good. This sounds the best. So I saved the settings, I locked it down, and I'm not touching them. Roger?
Yeah, no, don't touch them. They sound really good. I seen on the chat, I seen Todd commenting on my D104. That D104 is connected to my old Kenwood 690S. But I don't use that too much. I might use it a little bit more because I was just talking to Doug and I was telling him I'm starting to set up a setup in my RV, and I might go out when we go camping, get with Parks that are on the Parks on the Air list. I might try that in my RV, but that D104 doesn't get much use anymore, not since I got the 101 and I got the Mercury amplifier, and I'm not going back to that. The receiver on that, I try to go back to that radio just to try it, and the receiver is so bad. I mean, the receiver in this 101 is absolutely incredible. It's probably the same as your 10, but I mean, you can never go back.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. That's my understanding. I know the latest Sherwood report, they had the 101, they rated it number 1. But my understanding is the 10 and the 101 share the same receiver, one of them, of course, and share basically the same transmit. Now, you have a few other settings in the menu that this does not have, I think, because Terrence and I were going through that as we were setting it up. So they think they mirror each other fairly well, except for the second receiver, VFO, and so on and so forth, and the price associated with it, of course. But yeah, I would have a hard time going back to anything else. I told someone earlier I didn't think it was a big thing about the having the waterfall and so forth, but it's almost mesmerizing, and you do catch yourself staring at it. It's nice to be able to find where signals are at, and it's also nice to find free space if you wanted to call CQ. So again, I think it's a win-win. It's nice to see that these manufacturers are coming out with some type of an SDR type rig. It's certainly not the old 101 way back in the day, or some of the old Kenwoods. They do sound good, but there is definitely a big difference in receive technology. Roger?
Okay, well, the 101 Delta here has one thing to go back to the old 101. On the main band volume control, the squelch control is the arm that was on the old radio. They threw that as a throwback to the old radio. So it does have one thing to go back to what the old radio was, that one knob.
It does, and I think Todd even mentioned that. It has nostalgic value. It does, and I think they were still being, trying to represent the old and with the new, integrate those two, which I think is a great thing as well. So, again, the price point was a little tough. This was a little tough with this one as well. I would anticipate it going down as time goes on, but we had an opportunity, and we sold another radio to try to help finance this one. Don't regret it. Love the matchup with the microphone, and we're just going to keep running it the way it is. We run in a little bit of power, of course. It makes it easier to make those contacts. But otherwise, it's almost plug and play, and we'll continue to use it that way. K0RWB, back to you.
Yeah, like I said, you just can't beat it. And this Mercury amplifier, I never had an amplifier before. This was the first one. I seen Doug using this when I first started following him, and I said, I got to have me one of these. And then I got in touch with Kenny down in Miami, and in no time at all, the amplifier showed up, soldered a couple of RF cables, and we got the SO 259s, whatever the heck they're called, and there's a couple of RCA jacks you have to solder, and a couple hours got that all thrown together, and it matched up perfect. I did make a really funny mistake. The cables that come with it, there's two cables together, a red and a white. And here I'm thinking that the red on one end is the same as the red on the other end. So I hook it up, that way, and of course it's not that way. And I couldn't get it to work at all. And I sent him an email, and he got right back to me. And we, within I guess a half hour, figured out my stupid mistake and switched the wires out. And that was the only problem I had with it.
Yeah, I'm glad that worked out for you. I may have looked at that, but I have difficulties when it comes to soldering and patience. So I let the professionals do that stuff, and so that way we have less chance for errors. So, listen, I hope it was worth the wait. I don't understand. Well, I do understand. I'm not the greatest on pileups. I do the best I can of what I got, and sometimes I'm successful, sometimes I'm not. But I'm certainly hope it was worth the wait, Glenn, and really did enjoy it. We do have a little bit more time. I got the first tap on the shoulder. So I've probably got a few minutes before the second one shows up, and then I really have to shut it down because the third is the slap across the top of the head, and I don't want that one. But it was worth the wait for me. Nice to be able to catch up with you. I know you've been pretty active on the chat, and I do appreciate that. We've got you down, of course, for this sneaks for Wednesday evening giveaway. And again, we'll see what happens. I don't do this at all. It's all done by computer program, and so that way they can't come back and say I'm showing any favorites. I let the program do it, and whatever shows up, and it makes it fair for everybody. So, but anyway, I'll say 7-3 for now. I'm glad we did get a chance to catch up, and I'll try to listen harder for you next time. Always and do get a chance. I enjoy talking to you when we do get a chance, and I know we will real soon. I'll do the best I can. I promise. But thanks for your patience, brother. I really do appreciate it. And we got a nice little community going on between yourself and Todd and Doug up there and Alex, and there's a bunch of others. I couldn't name them all right now, but we've got a terrific community, and it's nice to know that we kind of have each other's back and try to help out when we can. So I'll say 70s to you, brother, and enjoy the rest of your week as well. November 2, Uniform Zulu, Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo. I'll let you finish it up.
Okay, Randy. Well, it's been a real pleasure talking to you. I'm glad I finally got through. Just want to let Todd know that D104 goes all the way back to the late 60s when I had with my CB radio days back in the ancient days. Again, it's been a pleasure, Randy. 73s, and hope to catch you again.
You bet. I'm looking forward to it as well. We'll go ahead and clear with you, my friend, and we'll catch you down the log. This is Kilowatt 0 Radio Whiskey Bravo. We'll be clear with Glenn. This is will be QRZ, any station, anywhere.
November 4, November Golf Victor.
1 Kilo Tango.
November 4, November Golf Victor. Boy, that's a big signal. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Good afternoon. I was looking here for what your name was. I wrote it down earlier and can't find where I wrote it. Anyway, the name here is Norm, November Oscar Romeo Mike, and I understand you're in Missouri. I'm pointed that way, over.
Yeah, well, thanks for giving us a call, Norm. Yeah, the name here is Randy, and we're 35 miles east of downtown Kansas City, Missouri, playing radio this afternoon and live streaming on YouTube there. Go ahead.
Very good. Well, I'm on a new radio, still trying to figure out the menus and all on it. I've been analog forever, and finally bought a radio that does some other stuff, a 7300, and I haven't got it all figured out yet, over.
Well, I'd say it's working tonight. So basically what happens, you've gone over to the dark side. I did that too. I did the 7300 in January, and it's now on an alternate location. So we're on a new rig. It's been about a month old. It's the FTDX10 by Yaesu. So don't feel bad, but boy, it does sound really good. It's got a nice little audio punch to it. So whatever you've done seems like you've got it in the right direction there, Roger.
N4 NGV returning. Well, Randy, it's a learning game. I'm twiddled it. I got the basic settings from a friend who has one and running the same microphone. And I'm listening to myself and listening to some recordings that other people made, and I need to tweak it a little bit. So I dropped the bass a little bit. When I look at the whatever they call the waveform, that the video audio waveform, it looked like it was a little bit tall on the left side, so I chopped it down a little bit. But right now, I'm trying to get it as level as I can across the sweeps. Over.
Yeah, the thing you watch out on the 73 is if you can keep the ALC around 80%. Then if anything more than that, it really will start to clip a little bit. The factory settings usually has the mic gain at 50. I think compression is off. And then bass and treble transmit are set at 0. I've talked to lots of operators with 7300s, and nobody has the same settings. Just to give you an idea, I have mic gain at 20, compression at 2. I do +3 for bass and +4 for treble. Yours is very clear and audible, but it doesn't have full fidelity. And if that's what you want, that's terrific. I'm not here to change it for you. What I will suggest, and again, I'll toot my own horn, because we're doing a live stream, you can actually listen to our playback just by going to my channel and listen to our QSO in real time, or what you actually sound like over the air versus headphones and so forth. Because trust me, it doesn't work. I tried that with myself, and it sounded awful when I heard the playback. So that would be an option for you, Roger.
Roger that. Well, I'm ALC must be a little bit high then. Well, I got to figure out the meter there. Well, I don't know. I can't see the numbers on the ALC. It's not exceeding the red, so it's not clipping, I don't think, but it's going up. Let's see. I don't see any numbers on the ALC meter.
No, it's just a solid bar, and then when you're going over, it goes to the red. So generally, when I look at right at the edge of the blue till it turns red, it would be 100%, and then a couple of lines to the left would basically would run you right around 80% or so. So I made sure that I think mic gain at 50 seems high, but again, a lot of people are operating it that way. Is fine. Again, the microphone can make a difference as well. And I'm certainly not here to make any changes for you. That's not my intention whatsoever. I think it sounds great. If you're wanting something for DX work, it's perfect. If you want to do a rag shoe, yeah, you could certainly add some bass to it and what have you, and have a little bit more of a full feature type audio. But again, I'm not here to suggest anything. You know your voice better than anybody else. I mean, this rig right now, I don't even run any mic EQ. This is run strictly from the microphone to the rig. So there's all kinds of variations. Again, if you wanted to add a little bit of bass to it, you go +1, +2 on the transmit audio, and then you listen to that as well. You make those changes. You certainly have enough treble, no doubt. It is very punchy, and not to the point to where it hurts, but it's got a nice punch to it, because I had no problems hearing you whatsoever. Go ahead.
Very good. Well, let's see. I'm running mic gain of 31, and do have compression on. Compression is at 2, and I do have treble. I've got on the bass, I'm running -2 on the bass and +3 on the treble. I do have a habit of kissing the microphone. My other radio that I came off of, Kenwood, I'm trying to match the audio on the Kenwood. You can't beat that. I've got an old Kenwood 850, and I run about 10% mic on it, but I kiss the mic, and that's the way I talk. Well, this one they told me to back off. Actually said to side talk it from 2 to 3 inches, and that way you won't overdrive it. But anyway, this is a a $19 microphone on a $1,000 radio is the way to describe this one. The hand mic is a little bit hot. Now you talk about a DX microphone. That's the mic that came with it, the hand mic. But this is a Chinese studio mic that I'm running, and not running through any DQ at all. It's just straight into the radio. 2 wires, and that's it. It is a condenser mic. Over.
Hey, Roger. November 4, November Golf Victor, Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo. No, not an issue. If you would indulge me, though, I would like to try something if you got a minute, and I'd like for you to change your transmit base to a +2. I know you said you're -2, but I'd like for you to try a +2 if you wouldn't mind, and just to see if I can hear a little difference, and it also allows me to do the recording as well. If you wish not to, Norm, that's certainly fine, but I thought, well, if you've got a moment, we'd certainly try it there, Roger.
Roger. Okay. Well, as soon as I talk, the menu goes away. Let me see there. I'm going to write up down, and I'm going to go to +2 and +3. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I think you've already got your treble set at +3, and I think you said that your transmit audio base is at -2. I'd be curious to see, not see, but, well, I can see it as well because I've got my scope up on the screen, to see and hear if there's a difference and how noticeable it might be for a +2 on base, and just see if that might be something that could maybe give you a little bit more of a full fidelity on your transmit audio. And, of course, while I do this, it should give you some time to go to the menus and make those choices, because as soon as you key up, it does go back to the solid screen up front, and then you have to kind of work your way back through the menus. But I just thought it'd be something to try to see if if it makes a noticeable difference, and if it's on the good side, fine. If not, we can always put it back to the original settings as well. November 4, November Golf Victor, Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo. Back to you, Norm.
November. Okay, we're there. Let's see. Kilowatt 0, Romeo Whiskey Bravo from November 4, November Golf Victor, and I've moved them up to +3, and in fact I put them at both at +3. But anyway, that did bring the thought that ALC was down a little bit, but it was me backing away from the mic. ALC is still running about, looks like about 75%, and power has not changed any. I'm running about 500 watts. In fact, let me turn the amp off and see what difference that makes. As strong as you are, I don't think I need the amp. Okay, there's back to 50 watts from 500, over.
Yeah, and you're 5.9 plus. And, boy, that's a big difference on your audio. Yeah, I mean, that is, it's really, for me, it's coming around. Very, very pleasing to listen to. I understand +3 on both. I do +4 Treb and +3 bass on the 7300. So, again, feel free to change them back. I'm certainly not the expert. All I can tell you, it sounds very good in my receive. Roger?
Hey, Roger that. Well, look, I pushed the wrong button there. I wanted to look and see what the audio looked like, and okay. That's way different from the scope wise is way different from what I had before. On the receive on your end on the scope, the last guy that I've talked to, audio file that was telling me the things that he says that my screen looked like Homer Simpson's haircut. I think it was Homer Simpson's haircut, over.
Well, you should see a peak at around 200 hertz. You should see another peak around 1,000 to 1,200, 1,300 thereabouts, and you should see another peak at about from about 24 up to 28, around 2,800. You should see those kind of 3 peaks. Again, when I'm listening and watching you on my scope, I see those three peaks. Now, again, if you're not comfortable about how it sounds in your receive or how it sounds on the other end, it's certainly simple enough to change back. What I hear today, with the conditions we have, I think it really added a lot to your signal. Roger?
November 4, November Golf Victor returning. Yes, okay, I see those, and I see what you were talking about on and looking at the receive side, what yours looks like. I do see a peak at the low end, periodically one in the middle, and also up looks like about 2,800. Anyway, very good. Well, like you said, they're one man's. I want it to be smooth. I don't want it to be sharp, and that the hand mic is considerably hotter than this mic, and I really have to back on it because it is punchy and it accents the high, like you had high boost on the Kenwood. Over.
Yep, that's very true. I have a YouTube listener right now who just chatted in, and he even said that you sounded much better on the live stream. So that should tell you at least two people think it sounds good. Roger.
Very good, Randy. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, well, I'll go back to the guy that turned me on to the 7300. In fact, they'd been ragging me. I've got a Yaesu sitting here, an 857D that I use for UHF VHF, and then the Kenwood is I've had it for almost 20 years, and it has really done me well. But when I heard the receive on his 7300, I started saving pennies. But I need to get rid of one of the radios. I've got two 850s sitting on the shelf and a 430, a Kenwood 430 sitting on the shelf that I have acquired, and I'm a hoarder. Once I get something, I don't like to let it go, but I reckon I need to. Over.
Yeah, very much so. And just so you know, I've got someone else who just came in on the chat, and it says, I concur here in Boston. So we have some listeners out there who think you're starting to sound a little bit more, I call it full-flavored. You can call it fidelity or whatever you want. Again, there are no perfect settings. It's whatever you're comfortable with, what sounds good to you, maybe sounds good to other listeners. And that's all you can really ask for. Maybe some people think I sound terrible. This is how I sound, because I've listened to my playback here several times on the recordings on YouTube, and to me, that's about as close as you're going to get of what you actually sound like. And so that's what I've come up with mine. Again, I don't run mic EQ with this particular rig. I don't run it on the. I run very low compression on the 7300, but my settings on bass and treble are a little bit higher than yours. But that's okay. We all have different voices and so forth. But anyway, it's just something to work with. You can leave it and try it out for some other operators and ask them the same thing. If it doesn't sound well, you know where your settings were at. That's what I like about the 7300. It's very simple to make those adjustments. And we had another one that says, if you hear him on the stream, it sounds good to me too. So we've got people out there on the channel right now who, Norm, who think you're sounding really good. So maybe we've got something going after all. Roger?
Roger that, Randy. I appreciate it. Yeah, I will get a consensus tonight on. There's a net that I listen to from 22 to 2300 local time here. My Elmer runs it. An old gentleman, a retired cardiologist, but he cuts no beans. If you aren't squeaky clean, he will advise you that you're not. His call is NC4L. No, he says it's no charge for ladies. And he is in a heartbeat. He will tell you if you are scratchy or a little bit wide. He is a little wide, but nobody else can be. Over.
Yeah, I've heard of those. And I'm watching the width of your signal on the scope as well, and you are well within 3 kc. So I don't think you'd have any concern there. I ran mine a little narrow, my 7300 as well. I think it's 228. I run this one at 228 as well. Sometimes the conditions and the atmosphere can really distort your signal and can make it wide and so forth. But only thing I can go by is what I see that's coming out of the rig, what happens at the antenna and so forth. That I don't really have any control for that. I can narrow it up some more, but again, it could be whatever. But yeah, like I said, get some other ears out there and see what they think. Again, I just wanted to try something to see what it would sound like, and I think it sounds good. And for those that are watching and listening on the channel, it seems so as well. But people that know you a little bit better will probably get a better idea of what changes and if it was better or worse, and then you can certainly go accordingly. But again, go to my channel, just go to YouTube, put in my call sign on the search bar, and you can go in about the 1 hour mark and listen to the playback yourself, Norm, and see how you sound. And this way you've got some changes from the before and after, and see if it sounds good to you as well. Roger?
November 4, November Golf Victor, returning to Kilowatt Zero, Romeo Whiskey Bravo. Randy, I appreciate it. I'll go back to your QRZ page and look up and see what and where you are, and go look. That's what I did to a gentleman the other evening up in Boston. The night I got the radio, and one of the first things that I talked to on it, and he was telling me settings, and I went and looked and listened, and it sounded like me. I don't know whether I sound like what I sound like, but it sounded like me. Anyway, Randy, I appreciate your help there, and I'm going to make me a log here of what different settings sound like, and if that's okay. Anyway, 73 is I'll let you finish. November 4, November Golf Victor.
Now, I appreciate. Thanks for stopping in. Give us some time here. Like I said, we're generally out here during the week, 2 o'clock Central for a few hours, or until the band kind of goes away, what have you. So feel free to stop by again. And like I said, you can go to the channel, give a look, and give a listen, and and see if it makes any sense to you, of course. And feel free to come by anytime, and we'll just kind of pick it up where we left off. And I'm glad that we did have a chance to talk today. So. I'll say 7-3 to you as well. Enjoy the rest of your day, what's left of it, and a great week ahead. And please feel free to come by again. I did enjoy it, and I'm glad we had a chance to talk. November 4, November Golf Victor, Kilowatt Zero, Radio Whiskey Bravo, Randy in Kansas City. 7-3's Norm.
73's Randy. Thank you.
You bet. This is K0RWB, Randy in Kansas City. We've got time for one more call. Unfortunately, QRZ.
Papa, November 4, November Papa Hotel.
Victor? There was a Papa station. Come back with a call again, please.
November 4, November Papa November Bravo, K0RWB.
Well, there's two of you. I'm going to try to get you both here, but I think there was it a Kilo 4 Papa Mike Bravo or something or other?
Kilo 4 Papa November Bravo, K4PNB.
Okay, my apologies there. K4 Papa November Bravo. Roger?
That's correct. That's affirmative. The name here is Philip. That's Papa Hotel India Lima India Papa. And the QTH is Cape Canaveral, Florida. You were talking to another station earlier about Florida. And like I said, I happen to hear Cape Canaveral in there, and I live here in Cape Canaveral. And I was just tuning up the band, got a new icon of 7610, and I just happened to hear your conversation, stuff like that. Just thought I would hang out and make a quick contact. K0RWB, this is K4PNB.
Yeah, well, fine business, Phillips. Well, thanks for hanging around. Thank you for your patience. And, yeah, again, the name here is Randy. We're 35 miles east of Kansas City. Yeah, it's my good friend Glenn, November 2, Uniform Zulu Kilowatt, just south of there. Apparently took the grandkids up there to Port Canaveral, I believe, over the weekend. So, boy, that's really close by. It's not likely you guys would be able to hear each other, of course, on 20. Well, I guess there could be an occasion. I've done a 3-mile QSO once. But, yeah, we were actually having a QSO. He's a friend that has checked in regularly with us. Not so much on the air. I keep missing him, but he's checked in on the live chat here on YouTube, which has been really nice. But, no, nice signal. And, yeah, you were certainly correct there. One of the places I have not had the opportunity yet to check out, we've been down the road, of course, at Patrick Air Force Base a time or two. Never had the opportunity to get up to closer to your direction, but it's something we would like to put on the bucket list and go back to. Roger?
Absolutely, Randy. You got to check it out. There's some neat things. You know, the Space Center out here, you can go through that. It's a nice attraction. And if you time your visit for a launch, you know, we have the SpaceX is launching vehicles, you know, 2 and 3 times a month sometimes, you know. And so it'd be a nice experience to bring the family down and see one of those launches. And if you're lucky enough where they bring the boosters back to the airport station, you'll be able to see those boosters coming back. And if you get in the right spot, you can actually see them land, you know. So that's pretty neat. Well, actually, it's only one for the Falcon 9, but if you're lucky enough to see a Falcon 9 Heavy, then you'll see 2. So I've had an opportunity to witness 2 Falcon 9 Heavy launches myself. So anyway, I'm not going to hold you, Randy. I just wanted to touch bases. And by the way, I could hear the other station. I didn't get a high signal, and when the quality was such. But where was he located? Just out of curiosity, how far south of Cape Canaveral back to you?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm trying to look at the map here to dial it in for you. And Glenn is probably still on the chat, and he'll correct me. But I'm trying to think. Oh gosh, let me look down here. I would say just on the north of Melbourne there, Roger.
Okay, yeah, Melbourne's, I'm thinking, depends on where he's at. Melbourne is about 45 minutes south of me, you know, so maybe 35 miles, something like that, 40 miles. But yeah, I could hear him, not very well, but adequately. I heard both sides of the conversation, so it was all good. But anyway, Randy, it's a pleasure making the acquaintance, and your audio is excellent. I'm going to tell you this, buddy. I've been listening to you for the last couple of QSOs. It's very nice audio. That rig, the amplifier combination, microphone you're using is fantastic. You sound great. I haven't had a chance to go to the YouTube thing, but I'll try to check your live stream there in a little bit. But anyway, take care in 73. Maybe you can get that other station, and I appreciate you answering to me. And it's a pleasure again to meet you. K0RWB, this is K4, PNB Cliff.
Yeah, no problem, Philip. And yeah, again, thanks for stopping in and kind of standing by. I said I'm not a great operator when it comes to pileups. I'm not a big fan of 5.9 K0RZ, so I try to give everybody equal time. That's what it's all about, to have fun, make a few contacts. But we do try to be out here during the week on a regular basis. That's the intention, from about 2 o'clock Central for a few hours or until the band dies. And yeah, if you get a chance, give a listen on the channel. And you may have or may not heard, we're doing this gift card giveaway each Wednesday. If you're interested in being considered for that, qualify, enter, whatever you want to call it, all we ask is subscribe to the channel, go to the chat, and put in your call sign and then K4P, Kidney for Papa Phil, which is what we're trying to get the word out for an operator up in Michigan. So if you're interested in doing that, we'd like for you to do that as well, and that would get you entered for this week. We're going to do it for a few more weeks, how it goes, but that's kind of where we're at this point. But anyway, thanks for stopping in. Please come back again. We'd love to pick it up where we left off. Kilo 4, Papa November Bravo, Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo, 7-3s.
November 7, X-ray, Charlie, / Alpha Golf.
I think I heard a November 7, X-ray, Charlie something.
Yes, November 7, X-ray, Charlie, / Alpha Golf.
Okay, I think I got you that time. Is it James, Roger?
Roger, yes.
Okay, give me a second here. Let me bring the beam up your direction. Hopefully you'll come up in my receive, and I'll come up in yours. Here, go ahead.
Yeah, you're down in the north, but luckily I have a great location here. I mean, there's hardly any noise, and I'm only looking you probably remember that 100 watts from a Comet no radio vertical, but it's decent.
Yeah, I've got you in there. You're just above my noise level. It's not terribly strong, but the audio is copyable there, Roger.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I did notice a difference. I wish the band was a little bit better. I mean, I've had a little bit stronger conditions earlier. I'm not sure where the band is at here currently. I've only gotten in up there a couple of times today. It's been kind of central East Coast and then southern East Coast, but we were able to pull you back out that time. So I'm glad to see you've made a few changes, and it sounds like it's working for you, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Like I say, I can't believe how well this little antenna works on 100 watts. I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Running barefoot, I sometimes I wonder why my electric bill is so high there, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Well, these antennas, I have two antennas, and they only handle 250 watts, so I'm not going to get a linear.
Hey, Roger. Well, I moved the beam a little bit more, and you really came up on my receive that time, so I've got you about 5 and 7. Hopefully it helped on your receive as well.
Well, yeah, I always run the RF, the RF gain, so it's usually up high to cut down the noise, but I could give you a signal report. I cranked it all the way up.
Yeah, no worries. If we're able to hear each other, that means the signal report's working fine. It's when we're not able to hear each other, that's when we've got problems. But no, you came up a lot on my receive there. I moved the beam around just a little bit more, and it came up much better. So glad to see that. I'm glad to see it's working for both of us today, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. I just remember you said I could listen to myself later. Do you know where that would be, like an hour or wherever, approximately on your recording?
Yeah. There's unfortunately there's two of them. We had an internet issue earlier, and so the first recording might have been maybe 30 minutes or so. So the second one currently is 1 hour 10. So I would probably fast forward to about maybe 1 minute 9, give or take, around there, James, and I would say that'd be pretty close, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Hey, I appreciate that. You always want to hear what you sound. I'm running that new FTDX 10. I have a bunch of other radios, but I got to try this one out.
Yeah, Roger. That's what we're operating here. We've had this for about a month now, and we paired it with the Heil PR781, and we're not running any mic EQ. We do have some of the EQ, the parasitics inside adjusted, but it just it's probably okay for DX with the mic EQ on, but otherwise we like the way this sounds better. Roger?
Yeah, Roger. It almost sounds like you have the processor on. It's so clear, and it just sounds like it. You know what I mean? It's coming in very well. Good power on the audio.
Yeah, I have to attribute that to the microphone paired with this with the FTDX10 here as well. We did try the PR40. We did try the Heil HM12 and the Heil Gold Line Elite, and we just kind of like this microphone a little better. It seemed to match up with the rig okay, and of course with the tone of my voice. And yeah, we're certainly enjoying it. I know they're still getting to know each other, so to speak, but we did play around with the settings quite a little bit. We had some help, of course, on with a couple of stations, and then as well listening to the playbacks. This sounds like we normally do when we're talking in person, Roger.
Yes, it does. I mean, I don't know what you sound in person, but you definitely sound like you're in the room. Real quick, how would you rate the 10 compared to some of the other radios you've owned?
So far, I've had Kenwood. I've had some other Yaesus as well. I even own a 7300 that I bought in January, and I prefer this by far. To me, the receiver does not get overloaded very easily at all. It will certainly filter a lot of close-by stations, and the transmit audio, the EQs is a little challenging to set up versus like the 7300 is really simple to set up transmit audio. But once you get this rig dialed in, I think it's by far a better radio. I think it has a better receiver. That's my personal opinion. Some may not. I do like the other radios as well, but this really, the receiver on this, I think, is tremendous. Roger?
Yeah, Roger. I love love the radio. It's a keeper. But to be perfectly honest, the receiver on my FT1000 Delta is just as good, and it's easier to listen to. That thing is just magic.
Well, and then we were going to that side. Yeah, well, Mark V is really nice as well. I looked for those rigs a long time ago, and I really couldn't find anything out there. If I could get my hands on one, I would certainly keep it and put it here in the shack as well. Terrific radios to this day, very far in advance when they first came out, Roger.
Yeah, I did I think there were 4,000 in 1990, the 1,000 Delta. So I did the official inflation. They come out to about $6,500. So if you look at it that way, it should be good. But here's one thing. This is a dual super head, the receiver. If they had put a quad in this, like the 1,000 Delta, I wonder if it would have improved it even.
Yeah, the last Sherwood report that came out, the new Yaesu 101, I guess it was number one on the list, and my understanding is the 10 shares the same receiver, so I felt pretty good about pulling the trigger on that. But again, I feel the same way. This is the keeper, and I think the more I use it, the more I'm going to end up liking it. Roger.
Roger. I just got the FH2, the remote keypad, in the mail today. I haven't set it up. And I also have the cable, so I have one monitor to my left where, I just outputs in the radio. And then on the right, I have that LAN controller, so I can just use the mouse on that. And what's interesting with the LAN, you can actually do averaging on the scope. That's one of the criticisms of the 10 is you can't do averaging on the scope here. But yeah, with the remote you can. But most of the time I just sit in my recliner and have a 4K TV with a sound system. It's perfectly clear. And then I use my keyboard, wireless keyboard, to change frequencies and stuff. That little LAN box is a little expensive, but the software is very good because it mimics exactly the 10 and the 101D. Whereas that ICOM 7300, the something B software, I found that a little clunky.
Yeah, we haven't gone that far yet. We don't even use the USB ports in the back for the keyboard or mouse. We do have the external monitor set up, and we use a video capture card that we plug into the computer, so we're able to put the screen up on the live stream here on YouTube. So we can always go back to the original setting and use it as an oversized monitor for that. But so far, like I said, we really have enjoyed the radio. The waterfall can almost be too mesmerizing. You get stuck looking at it, of course, but it can be good and bad. But yeah, I'm going to hang on to it for sure. It's been a big upgrade over the other Yaesus I've had in the past, so I think it's definitely a winner. So. Jim, we're going to let it go for now. I've got a second tap on the shoulder, which means I need to shut it down here. And the third one is a slap upside the head, and I prefer not to have that one. So, but I did glad we get a chance to talk. And, yeah, if you get a chance to give a listen, of course, and see how you sound as well. And feel free to come back anytime, and we'll pick it up where we left off. November 7, X-Ray Charlie /AG, Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo 73s, my friend.
What radio are you talking about?
K0RWB, 73.
Okay, James, thanks again, 73s. A station had a question about the rig. Come back with your call if you don't mind, please.
Oh, yeah, Whiskey 7, Zulu Echo Bravo in Whiskey, Idaho. I'm just curious what radio you're referring to, please.
Yeah, we're talking about the new Yaesu FTDX10, sir.
Okay, that's what I'm talking on here. I wondered if that's what the description was. I rather like mine, and I've got a 7300 also, go.
Yes, sir, I believe that. I may have typed that in wrong. Could you give me the call again if you wouldn't mind, please?
Okay, Whiskey 7, Zulu Echo Bravo. Zulu Echo Bravo, go.
Yeah, I had it backwards. One of the issues I got to deal with. So the handle here is Dwayne. Is that a Roger?
Yeah, it's Dwayne right here. Didn't catch yours, but you have to go, and I
just wanted a quick check on that. Your radio sounds great. Very good audio.
Yeah, okay, Dwayne. Yeah, the name here is Randy, and we're 35 miles east of downtown Kansas City, Missouri. We're generally out here on 20 in the afternoons, about 2 o'clock Central, for a few hours, trying to make some contacts. We also live stream on YouTube, which we are currently doing. So basically, we're just making contacts and talk about whatever. And today it seems to be on different radios. And yeah, I've been very satisfied so far with the FTDX10. We've had it for about a month. You know, it has a few challenges here and there, trying to getting the transmit audio kind of dialed in. But we have a friend out in Knoxville, Tennessee, who runs one of the new 101s, and we basically copied his settings, except I made one small minor change in the mid levels, and so that's where it is there, Roger.
Yeah, Roger, it sounds great. I haven't made too many changes on mine. I've been quarantined basically here, but now I have my second vaccine, and I'm up and around. I'm using basically the factory settings on this thing and driving a Quadra at about 600 with it. So anyway, didn't want you to get slapped side the head, but give me your call again, Randy, would you please, Joe?
Yeah, you bet, Dwayne. The call is K0RWB, Radio Whiskey Bravo. King Zero, Radio Whiskey Bravo, red, white, and blue.
Okay, red, white, and blue, K0. Yeah, got a cousin out in the Manhattan area, K0 A&M, as I remember, right off the top. Anyway, thank you for the comments, and maybe catch you again when we have a little time. K0RWB, W7ZEB. Best of 73s, Randy.
Yeah, same to you, Dwayne. Yeah, by all means, feel free to stop back here anytime. We're generally out here, like I said, 2 o'clock Central. And I'd like to get a chance to talk a little bit more about your settings, your mic and stuff on the rig. I think it's a keeper. It's terrific. I do like the 7300, and I'm really tempted to bring that back up online one day, just to see if some of the people that check in notice a difference. I know I do, but yeah, it'd be something to work with as well. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your day, my friend. Thanks for giving us a call, and like I said, feel free to come back anytime, and we'll definitely look for you. But 7-3s for now. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll say 7-3s. Whiskey 7 Zulu Echo Bravo, Kilowatt 0 Radio Whiskey Bravo. 7-3s.
Yeah, 73, Randy. I'm going to keep the 7300 as my travel portable that goes up to the cabin, so that's where it stands.
Yes, sir. We're thinking along the same line, so that's terrific. Okay, we'll go ahead and clear, and I have 7 minutes. I have 7 minutes, so I'll take one more call. K0RWB, K0RZ.
Kilo Charlie 1.
Was there a Kilo Charlie 1?
This is Kilo Charlie 1, Lima Kilo Oscar.
Yeah, I knew you were in there somewhere, Miguel. Hey, how's it going this afternoon?
It's doing great. It's doing great. I was listening to your talk on the FTDX10. Glad to know that's working for you. I did a little recording. I don't know if you've heard yourself. Obviously, it's you're going to hear yourself as I hear you. Here we go.
We're just making contacts and talk about whatever. And today it seems to be on different radios.
So anyway, that's how you sound on this end. I've been helping other folks that have either 991s or that radio hear themselves. I'm using at the moment an Apache Labs 7000 with an RA320 microphone, but I do have a 101MP. It's in a box right now, but I've played with it for about 8 or 9 months. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know, I don't think you can go wrong with any of those. Yeah, I think the last time we talked, you were on the Apache Labs. The thing I'm still working on is trying to stay a little bit farther away from the mic and not really kind of raise my voice, so to speak. Old habit after running another rig where I was eating the microphone for 9 years, so this is something we're getting used to. And we've done since we've made these changes. We've listened to we try to listen to our playbacks every evening just to see how things went and so forth, and basically critique ourselves. And one of the reasons we don't run mic EQ because this sounds more like me. It's more natural and more how I sound in person. But I appreciate the recording. That's about what I anticipated. Again, if I talk a little lower and a little slower, it would sound better. I do catch myself yelling a little bit more than probably necessary, but it's an old habit that's hard to break. Roger?
Yeah, roger that. It's interesting because the band did something now. You were plus 20 in that last transmission, but it was a little muddled or something. Not sure if it was on my end. I looked at the VFO. I haven't touched it, but it's in general, it sounds really good. I mean, the FTDX10 and the 101, they share a lot of stuff, right? A lot of stuff, and it is a little tricky getting used to all the menus and all the things. I'm not sure if you also have the AMC to deal with on that rig, but that also does influence the audio quite a bit.
Yeah, we do have the AMC as well, and we have the AMC set at about 55. I believe out of the box it's at 50 if I remember right, and yeah, that is an adjustment as well that we are trying to be aware of. And I believe I think the mic gain is about 22 or 24. I have to go back and look. I don't want to change the screen right now while we're streaming, but yeah, it's one of those things. And the band conditions can change it as well. You've been setting 10 plus. So I don't know if it's that time of day or what. We've got the beam kind of pointed over your direction, of course. But if we're able to copy each other, I'm okay with that as well. Roger?
Yeah, roger that. You can take this to extremes. I know people that spend hours and hours and hours trying to get a little bit better audio, and it's just part of the journey, right? Everybody has their own thing, right? It could be antennas, or it could be just getting the audio a little bit better. And yeah, with the AMC is very tricky because I've heard people that say, well, you got to set it at least at 65 or 70 and lower your processor to like 40. So you have those the three key things on that radio is the AMC, the processor, and the microphone gain. The equalizer adds a very little. I mean, it will change the tone somewhat, but the other ones, they have a big impact on the audio path. Go ahead.
Yeah, very true. Again, a couple of weeks ago, a friend of mine, Terrence, down in Knoxville, who has a new 101, we were talking briefly on 40, and he just sounded phenomenal. And I was still kind of struggling with the settings, and so I copied down his 101 settings. So this is what he has set up in his rig, minus just a few minute changes I did on the mid-level, but otherwise we were using his same settings, and I've been very satisfied so far. A lot of people you're always trying to tweak it, make it sound as good as possible, because the band is going to do some crazy things to it sometimes, and we're trying not to be too overly concerned with it per se, but there are certainly times when it requires, depending on if you're running DX or the conditions or so forth, you may change a few things, and I think it's okay to do that. To make some major changes back and forth, probably not a good idea. To make some small, subtle changes from time to time, I think I could probably help as well. Roger?
Yeah, makes sense. I know you have 7 minutes, and there's probably other people that want to talk to you. Well, now you probably have like 4 minutes, maybe. So I just don't want to keep it long, but I want to say hello, Randy, and everyone else listening via your YouTube feed. And hope everything goes well with the raising awareness for Papa Phil. This is Kilo Charlie 1 Lima Kilo Oscar. Congrats on the radio. Enjoy the ride.
Yeah, thank you, Miguel, and thanks for standing by and listening. I'm glad we got a chance to get in. I know that I'm logging our contacts, and it shows February 26th. That doesn't sound right. I would have thought we've talked way before that, and maybe I have forgotten or something in my log, but I would have sworn we've talked sooner. But always a pleasure, and I have to kind of remember the call, but I certainly remember the voice in a positive way, of course. But thanks for giving us a call this afternoon, and I do appreciate your efforts as well. And I'm hoping that all of us together as a collective can help awareness and maybe get something forward for Papa Phil. He certainly does deserve it. I'm sure that if the situation was reversed with any of us out there, we would want to have that type of backing and awareness as well. So, well, 7-3s, and thank you once again, and we'll have to do it sooner. If my log is correct, a month is just too long. And we do appreciate it, and yeah, you sound terrific on the Apache Labs as well. And yeah, get the one-on-one back out. Who knows? We'll play around with that one too. 7-3s, Miguel. Kilowatt Charlie 1, Lima Kilowatt Oscar, Kilowatt 0 Radio Whiskey Bravo. 7-3s.
All right, 73s, Randy. You take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. I swear, one more call and I got to go. K0RWB, QRZ.
Radio 4, London, Tokyo, calling.
Okay, Tokyo station again with your call, please.
Yeah, it's Whiskey 4 Lima Tango. W4 Lima Tango. Over.
Okay, I got you. Whiskey 4 Lima Tango. Good afternoon. I'm going to start ducking here. I got a couple of minutes, but I hate to leave calls unanswered there. The name here is Randy. Call Kilowatt 0 Radio Whiskey Bravo. We're 35 miles east of downtown Kansas City, Missouri. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, Randy. Very good. K0RWB, W4 Lima Tango returning. Very fine. Thanks for the call. You're 5'9", big and strong here in Tampa. My name is Lou, Lima United, and I'm using my iPhone to connect to my Flex 6400. First time I've tried to do this, and I was just wondering if it sounded okay. And since you've got such a nice strong signal, I figured you could give me a good audio report. Over.
No, hey, that's terrific. You know, I've been wanting to try to kind of indulge in that and try that, but that's really cool. You know, it sounds really, really good. That's great.
Well, that's good to hear. that's really a good thing to hear. Let me press a button. I just want to see where we're at. I'm just running a medium compressor, not even very high compression, and I'm trying to keep it below the 1 mark, the -10 mark that they say not to exceed. But it seems to work okay. Got the iPhone about 6 inches from my mouth here, and I'm connected over my house Wi-Fi. So I've never used this before, but it's kind of tough because the screen is so small. But it looks okay on my scope here as I transmit. Maybe a little too much bass, but for my standings. But anyway, it's nice to know that it does work over, Randy.
Yeah, well, your signal's 5'9", a little on the plus side from time to time, and the band is waving, so it gets to where there's a lot of bass, and then it gets back to real normal and a few highs. But overall, gosh, for a microphone that's in an iPhone, I mean, I would not complain. I think that's a neat little deal. You know, our internet connectivity where I live is suspect, to say the least, so I don't know if it would work that well and for how long, Roger.
Okay, very good. Well, I turned the equalizer on to what I think is a little better with a little less bass, and it does look like it's less bass here. Do you hear any difference, over?
Yeah, it's got a little bit more punch to it. Some people call it being a little brighter. I would certainly say that would be the lingo that would make sense. A little bit brighter, Roger.
Okay, very good. Yeah, this is interesting how you can do this. This kind of stuff to me is like a miracle. This is not, you know, any advanced enough technology is indistinguishable from magic. This is true magic how I'm doing this, holding an iPhone in my hand, connecting through my Wi-Fi to my radio here. I have another radio. Our club has another 6400 that's about 8.5 miles away, and that's my next attempt to see if I can connect to that rig. Now that I've got it sort of figured out how I connect to my own rig, Randy.
Oh yeah, 5 minutes. Whiskey 4 Lima Tango, Kilowatt 0 Radio Whiskey Bravo. Yeah, interesting. Again, if you've got good connectivity, it would certainly make things work better. Like I said, I don't trust mine, but I did hear a change, of course, when you first called, and then you added you got it a little bit brighter. And since you are so good with technology, since we are doing a live stream here on YouTube, you can actually go and listen to our QSO on playback, and you can listen to the difference yourself, Roger.
Oh goodness, you're on YouTube. That's interesting. All right, very good. I'll have to I'll have to look into it. I don't know if you record it or not, or you're doing a live stream, so I'm assuming that you are doing a live stream, and I'd have to hook up to it live. But I'd have to open the computer, et cetera, and we'll go from there. But no, this is this is just really interesting how this all works out. And I have the Maestro controller, which I've used amazingly enough in the car. I have a little hotspot in my car, and I've gotten in my car and drove to a place and connected to both these radios, the one in the club and the one here. So it's truly amazing. It's I don't know what to say about this stuff. I've been doing this since 1976, and with Heathkit stuff, and started with an HW17 and that kind of stuff, and then we get to this, and it's just stunningly amazing. But anyway, again, you got a very nice signal here, nice and clean. I know you're using the new Yaesu SDR, but I have a couple of rigs here that I can play with, and my next goal is going to be having my Bluetooth headset through this transceiver to see if that makes any difference. But anyway, that's long and short of it, Randy. I know you said you have to go. I don't want to keep you long, but you should give us a try. It's just a miracle. Over.
Yeah, it is pretty cool, and the way you describe it, I'd be interested about the Bluetooth and see how well that works. Anyway, getting back to the stream, it is live, but it also records. So you don't have to log into it while we're actually live. It does record automatically, and because, as I said, we have internet issues. It did come on for, I think I got about 20 minutes in, and it disconnected me. So I basically had to shut everything down again, and then and so far we're able to come back up again. So we've been out for 1 hour 35 currently. So if you do want to go back and listen to that, I'd go to the second one, was today's date, and about 1 hour 33, give or take, right through there, Lou, and I think that would be pretty close to our QSO, and that way you could go listen to the playback. And of course, here's another benefit as well. Not only what you're doing in connectivity, we're doing the YouTube thing as well, but we're also doing a ham radio dealer here locally that's giving away gift certificates. We're doing this each week, and we're doing drawings on Wednesday. And if you're interested in being considered for that, enter, qualify, whatever you want to call it, just, again, go to my YouTube channel, put in my call in the search bar, and over on the chat side, just put in your call sign, and then type in K0RWB, kidney for Papa Phil, which is also on my QRZ page. So we're trying to get the awareness out for him, and by doing that, we're trying to get some more interest. It's a win-win for everybody, for the ham radio store locally, for the channel, for the operator who wins it, and so forth. So we'll put our two technologies together, per se, and see how it works. Roger?
All right, we'll definitely have to look into that. I'm assuming it's, I just search for K0RWB on YouTube and I get your channel, over?
Yes, you can certainly do that, or you can look me up in QRZ, and I have a hyperlink on my page. You can click on that, it takes you right to it as well.
Oh, very good, very good. Well, I'll have to check that out. I actually am interested to see what this thing sounds like. So we'll see how that goes. There's a bunch of other stuff. I've got another transceiver here. I don't know if you've ever seen them or not, but a friend of mine purchased one, and I just had to have it. It's a Chinese rig. It's a VGC VR7500. It's a dual-band VHF UHF transceiver. No front panel, and it uses the cell phone as the front panel. It also connects to internet chat rooms, for lack of a better term. You can use your handheld, talk into the radio, which then sends it into the internet, which then goes through the internet to another one, some other place, and then it transmits it from there. It's like internet to RF dual band. I got it because you have a Bluetooth push to talk, and I have a manual transmission car, so it would be a lot handier for me to use the Bluetooth button that wirelessly turns the transmitter on and off, putting it on the gear shift, and be a little safer in driving. But it's really cool. It's interesting. I'm a retired broadcast engineer, and I've been retired for 3 years now, so this is what keeps me busy, Randy. K0RWB, W4 Lima Tango.
Well, it sounds to me like you're keeping yourself quite busy. I think that's terrific, and I never claimed to be one. The atmosphere can really change what you sound like versus. I tried headphones, and I use those now, but doing recording of yourself with headphones, I think, is still not really that close. And what I found worked for me is when I do the playbacks on YouTube, I've been able to make some minor adjustments with the transmit audio, and I've gotten it to the point where when I listen to myself, that's what I sound like. So that's kind of a neat deal. But yeah, it's amazing the technology that's out there, the SDRs. The Flexes, of course, I think started all this, years ago, and have gotten bigger and better at what they do. And the neat thing about the hobby, there's a lot of R&D that's still being spent, to make things bigger, better, easier, brighter, what have you. And I think it's kind of opened up the market for all different type of operators, from the people that are strictly CW to phone to FT8 and all the other digital modes. And again, there's a price point for everything as well. I mean, you can certainly spend a little and get out just as well, and spend a lot and get out just as well. So that's kind of the neat deal. But yeah, I've talked to a couple other stations that were using their phones, but never to the quality and to the signal report I've gotten from you today. So you have made my day. K0RWB, back to you.
All right, very good. K0RWB, W4 Lima Tango. Oh, well, you've made my day, because I actually got this thing to work. That's a positive here. Yeah, looking at I've got a little RF power meter here. It has a compression level meter and a volume meter, and like I say, I'm following their suggested directions is to not make it go over -10 on the level meter. But again, I have it on the medium processing position. Let me turn it to the all else fails DX position, which is right there. That's what they call DX plus. It probably makes it a little bit more bitey, so to speak. And but the meters do look like they're hanging in there quite well. I'm only running 100 watts to a tri-bander at 40 feet here. So that's the long of the story of that. Randy, thank you so very much for letting me test this thing with you, and again for the recording. I look forward to checking out your YouTube channel and seeing what it sounds like there. And I do appreciate it. The band is up and down a little bit. You dropped down to about S4, and then came back up to 10 over S9. So I'll say goodbye while I still can before the whole band collapsed on us. Thank you very much, Randy. Take care. Have a great afternoon, and I appreciate you taking the time to work me. K0RWB, W4 Lima Tango, Tampa, Florida. So long, 7-3.
Okay, Lou, thank you as well, and I'm glad you got it working. Sounds great. And yeah, give a look, give a listen, and see what you think. And again, if you're interested in being considered for the drawing, hey, I think it's a great thing. Promoting by local. However, the Dan, who's the owner operator, terrific guy, has a good web page as well. If you go to Associated Radio. And anyway, we're just trying to promote a little bit of everything. It's a win-win for everyone. That's kind of what we want. So enjoy the rest of your evening, and thank you from Tampa area. And we look forward to working again. And if you hear us, please give a shout, and we'll just pick it up where we left off. I want to hear the version with the Bluetooth. That's what I want next. So I'm glad I was able to make your day. You've definitely made mine. Whiskey 4 Lima Tango, Kilowatt 0, Radio Whiskey Bravo. We're going to be clear in QRT.
All right, so long, Randy. W4LT.